Hey, it's Jamie from thedailyinfusion.com, and I've been reflecting on an awesome experience that I had with a beautiful friend of mine. Hey, Jenny. We had this experience a few weeks ago when we went to go see Oprah Winfrey do a taping at UCLA for a new show she has called Super Soul Sessions. And there was just an entire day filled with the most inspirational speakers and just really groundbreaking information in a lot of ways. In some ways, it built upon things that I'd already been exploring. But either way, my brain exploded. My heart was just burst open. And I had all these ideas I wanted to share with you guys to give you more tools to help you along your healing path. And one of the speakers, named Sean Inker, was particularly of interest for me to share with you because he is the founder of these positive psychology courses at Harvard, which I actually considered going to that program because I wanted to learn more of the science of positivity. And what he studies is ways the brain reacts to this thing and how we're wired, which, anybody interested in psychology and therapy, we study this. But he had us do a little experiment that I want to share, which was that it had to do with something called mirror neurons. So for those of you who don't know what mirror neurons are they're basically how we're all wirelessly connected to each other, to have empathy for one another and to have the ability to feel what another is feeling because of the way our brain interprets what we see. So basically, this means that if we witness something, our brain will interpret that event as if it's happening to us. And our body will have a physical reaction to that. And we can use this for our benefit if we look at it and use it in a certain way, or we can use it to promote more fear and anxiety within our being, depending on how careful we are and how discerning we are with what we surround ourselves with and how we decide to perceive any given situation we're experiencing. So for me, of course, I always look to it to my benefit to see how can I offer more compassion in a moment. But clearly, some people, if we haven't processed any difficult emotions within our own being, we get pretty uncomfortable witnessing another person going through a difficult experience for that reason, because of these mirror neurons. So the experiment was, he had me turn to my friend Jenny, and everybody turned to the person sitting next to them. And the assignment was, one person was to sit with a blank face and not move at all for a few minutes, while the other person stares them in the eye and just smiles and holds that smile and that gaze, and we're to look at each other for a set time. And of course, what ends up happening, the two of us, we just ended up bursting laughing because of those mirror neurons. And it's also kind of funny, but it's almost impossible not to have that kind of physical reaction when someone is doing that, because that's how our brains are wired. We react, we have a physical reaction based on what we're viewing. So I used this to my benefit when I was healing and really feeling stuck in a place where I just was going through repeated thought cycling in my head that kept me really constricted and weighed down. And I have a video I did a little bit about this called Using Social Media for Healing, which was one of the tools I used for myself to start cultivating more of that lighter, expanded perspective, where I went through my entire news feed and I just eliminated anything that had an energy of fear behind it, any kind of negativity or anger or anything behind it. I just stopped following it because I noticed how it had an effect on my body, and I was trying to recover my body to a healthier state of being, and it wasn't serving me. So we can use this to our benefit in every situation in our life, though. If we can recognize the power that those neurons hold in our minds, it's pretty amazing how we can have a physical experience depending on what we decide to consciously expose our attention to. So think of ways that maybe today and in any given moment, any choices you're making, notice what you're putting your attention on. Notice the energy behind it and recognize that that is having an effect on your brain, which will then determine your physical reaction and experience. Your body's interpreting this way. This is why I always talk about the power of meditation and visualizing certain things in our mind, because the brain also does not know the difference between what we project onto it as real and what is actually real, which is why we can have panic attacks that seem to come out of nowhere except a thought. And that is not necessarily a physical thing that's really going on. That thought exists in your mind, but your mind is interpreting that as if it's a very real physical experience. Once we learn how to work with this, we can really manipulate and start cultivating a reality for ourselves that is a much more expanded viewpoint, and that's really when we can begin to transform things and we become these artists of our lives, and it's kind of awesome. So let me know if you have any questions with that. I'm happy to be of assistance to anyone who would like to discuss more of their personal situations of what they're going through, so we can talk one-on-one about what's specifically going on for you. I'd be happy to guide you with that, because that is one of the ways I got out of that hole myself. When we're in those dark places, sometimes we need that helping hand to hold that space back up for ourselves to climb out of that hole. We need someone to support us through it, and that's what I did. Is I looked towards those more expanded influences in my life, people who were already living in this way that I really desired to have that same level of vibrancy and vitality. And it was just from engaging with those people that I had the model of how to move forward in my own life, how to have create those patterns for myself. I mean, this is how we transform everything, and sometimes we need that reflection to see that of another. So I'd be happy to be of assistance to you. Let me know if you need that. And in the meantime, I'm here making my videos for you guys all the time, and I just am sending you so much love right now. Talk to you soon. Bye.